Now, if you're looking to activate that Limitless chip in Matchday free, don't worry, you've come to the right place, as we're going to go through all the key stats and data you need, and of course showcase my preferred Limitless draft for Matchday free. Now, before we dive into today's video, if you do enjoy any of the UCL fantasy content that you see on the channel, please be sure to like, comment and subscribe, as we are closing in on 10,000 subscribers, and it would be absolutely amazing if we could hit that goal by the end of the month. Of course, there will be another video out later today showcasing my team selection for Matchday free, and of course there will be a deadline stream on Tuesday as well to help you with any last minute decisions, and of course talking through all the key data for the upcoming match day. First off, let's start off with the bookmakers from Odds Checker. Again, I do post this over on my Twitter, so if you want to go and follow me on there as well, there is a link in the description. But starting off first with the projected goals for this game week, and obviously we're definitely going to be looking at this in terms of our teams to be targeting. So Manchester City and Arsenal top, with great fixtures for both of those sides, so it does make sense that they have really good projected goal numbers, so that is definitely going to translate into performances and obviously players as well that we're going to be looking to target from those sides. Girona is an interesting one. They do have a great fixture, but I think with us having unlimited budget, we're probably maybe not going to look at anybody from their side. However, maybe if you're looking for transfers this week in terms of the cheap players, definitely could be worth a little bit. But for me, they haven't really started the league this well so far this season. They're currently sat in 11th, not having the same kind of impact as they were last season. There aren't kind of any too big-ish standout players that I would be kind of gagging to go and get in the side either. The next batch, I definitely think there's some really good, interesting attacking clubs in here. Sporting Lisbon, absolutely flying over in Portugal at the moment. They're top. They've won their past 5 games as well. Atalanta, they're always good value for money in terms of goals as well. And Inter have had a pretty decent start to the season as well. So again, another side I will be looking at. And Bayer Leverkusen as well, they always love a goal. So definitely going to be some of their players featuring in today's video. Let's move on then. Let's take a look at clean sheet data, again coming from the bookmakers. And again, it is 2 sides that are pretty much sat top of this list. It's the same kind of 3 sides actually sat kind of top of this list. Manchester City with a 69.2% chance of a clean sheet this week. So definitely worth investing in their defence. Same with Arsenal as well. Obviously, you know, Saliba suspended now in the league. Probably means that he's going to play the Shakhtar game as well. There might be still some rotation, but definitely worth picking up on some of their players as well. Girona with a 53.5. Again, they're really backing Girona in this Matchday free fixture, so maybe it could be worth some consideration. I will wait, of course, for the Rob T FPL data before making any final decisions on that one. Atletico Madrid as well with a 50% chance. Historically, under Simeone, a very rigid, versatile defense that do manage to, you know, shut out a lot of teams. So again, definitely going to be worth some considerations as well. After that point, they do start to fall away with obviously Inter, Aston Villa, Milan, Monaco and Sporting Lisbon. But all very good teams, again, that you should be looking to target ahead of this game week. That was, of course, the betting data. Like I said, it is available on my Twitter. We will have the updated versions from Rob T FPL as well on the deadline stream as well. So make sure you are hitting that subscribe button with bell notifications on as well. So you will be notified when I do go live for that one. But yeah, let's head over to my Limitless draft for Matchday free. Wasting no time, let's dive into this Limitless draft for Matchday free. Starting off first with our 2 goalkeeper picks. Both play on different days, so we've got 2 cracks at the whip, if you like. Of course, we're going to go for Raya. Really good clean sheet percentage chance for Arsenal in this one. Shakhtar at home, I do think he'll still start in that one, as Arsenal will be looking to progress as quickly as they can throughout this campaign as well. Arsenal in the Premier League have been a pretty good defence so far this season. I know obviously they did concede against Bournemouth and Southampton, interestingly, on that point, but their XG in both of those games has been pretty low. If you look towards the 11-5 Premier League data as well, it is suggesting that Arsenal are still a pretty good defence. And I do feel as well, with the betting data we showed earlier in the section, that, you know, this for me makes a pretty good sense to have the Arsenal goalkeeper as well. We've also gone for the Benfica goalkeeper. They play Feyenoord on the different day. Again, still around a 36% chance of a clean sheet in that one. So if Raya doesn't deliver the goods, we've definitely got another option that we can obviously make that swing to. Moving into the back line, and as you can see, it is quite stacked with players. Obviously, Manchester City and Rico Lewis are going to be in here. I do feel in kind of fantasy at the moment, he has the highest potential because he is one of those players that is so ridiculously cheap, which doesn't matter on this kind of limitless, but maybe if you're looking at a transfer this week as well, good fixtures coming up for City, but it's the positions this lad gets into. He is absolutely phenomenal. Now, obviously, with any Pep side, there is always that risk of rotation, and that is the only downside to obviously playing Rico Lewis, but I feel the upside massively outweighs that with the positions he gets into as well. Had a really, really good performance in the last Champions League round as well. I was super impressed against Bratislava in that one. Hopefully against Prague, he can kind of put in a similar performance as well. And as we saw with the betting data as well, a 69.9% chance of a clean sheet, I believe it was. So again, really, really good data going into that one. Next up is going to be Gabriel. And again, the same premise there kind of goes that Arsenal are fancied again for a clean sheet. So we have gone for that double up. Obviously, Saliba might be the better pick with him now being suspended for the Premier League. So you do feel like Arteta will play him fully throughout that game as well. But I do feel Gabriel has that slightly higher set piece threat for me in my personal opinion. A player that isn't on the list in terms of, well, a team that was on the list in terms of clean sheets was PSG. However, I do believe this home fixture against PSV represents a great opportunity for them to go and pick up 3 points as well. Hakimi has been absolutely smashing it out in France as well in Ligue 1, and the last game, actually it wasn't the last game, it was the first match day as well. I watched it, and the positions this guy gets into is extremely unlucky not to have came away with an attacking return so far in the Champions League, and again for me feels like a little bit of a no-brainer. Jimenez from Atletico Madrid, again we did see that they had a 50% chance of a clean sheet, so again really, really good data with that one. And as we saw as well, he's an absolute magnet for ball recovery, so again pretty happy with that as a pick. And then finished up, it is going to be Grimaldo from Leverkusen. They again weren't a team that featured on that list. Him and Frimpong both again kind of continuing the kind of theme that they've been doing throughout the course of probably the past 18 months as well at Bayer Leverkusen since Alonso's appointment. I feel that away fixture against Brest, I do feel there will be goals in it. Maybe not a clean sheet, so maybe you potentially might want to rotate him for a different player that has a higher percentage chance of a clean sheet. But for me, I do feel like he looks like a really, really good attacking pickup to go and get. Let's dive in. Let's go and take a look at our midfield. First off, we're going to start off with Lookman at home against Celtic. I think basically Dortmund put the blueprint out there how to beat Celtic. If they're battering them 6-1, what could Atalanta do? Again, a very ferocious side. Lookman had a fantastic performance as well in match day 2 as well, so a player that I was recommending to people on the deadline stream. Again, looks like a fantastic option going into this game week as well. It'll be really interesting to see when the betting data does come out for projected goals for that match day as well, how he is lining up, because I do believe he should be quite high again on that one. Foden in here again, we saw with the betting data that the projected goals are looking really, really tasty for Manchester City going forward. He was absolutely astonishing as well in match day 2. My only concern with him is whether or not he does play in this game, because they don't really have too many players at the moment, Manchester City, but I would like at least 2 City attackers outside of Erling Haaland, so Foden makes it in here. But KDB, if he's fit and available for this game, could also be a great shout. Gundogan's probably going to be going under the radar as well, or maybe you take a punt on somebody like a Grealish, Doku, maybe you go down that route as well, but I feel Foden is probably the best pick out of all of those as well. Çalhanoğlu makes it in here after his goal in the last one. Again, young boys, again, they've so far shown how pretty poor they have been so far in this tournament as well. Getting absolutely battered by everybody. And again, I don't think there's going to be a change for that with Inter Milan going into that game as well. And Çalhanoğlu, free kick merchant, as we all know, set piece merchant as well. And I feel he could have a very impactful kind of performance on that game. Florian Wirtz makes it in here as well. He's had a great start to his Champions League campaign and great start to the new campaign as well out in Germany. Again, away at Brest, it's not the easiest fixture on paper, but I do feel like they will have enough to outmuster them. And if they want to kind of stamp their authority within the Champions League group so far, I do feel like Bayern Leverkusen will be looking to go and win this game away at Brest. The next one is a controversial one because obviously he missed the game yesterday when this was being filmed, the Bournemouth game. So obviously there is doubts around Bukayo Saka and whether or not he is going to be featuring, but I do feel he is probably the best option on that first day, with Arsenal having really good projected data and of course, you know, the way that they line up. Obviously you could very easily swap him for another Arsenal attacker in here, but for me Bukayo Saka is the best one, and if there is any chance of him being fit and available, I would want him. But at the moment, obviously it's a little bit of a doubt surrounding him, but for now I have selected him. Obviously if we get kind of early team news or anything from our Arteta in the press conferences, then I definitely think making that switch would be worthwhile to a different Arsenal attacker, or of course targeting another midfielder as well. Let's head on into the strikers then. We're going to go for the three big boys, I would say here. Obviously, Lisandro Martinez came off the bench in the last game to grab himself a goal. 2 goals, 1 assist out in Serie A. He's not had the best start to the season. It's been a little bit mixed, but again, up against a weak and young boys side, I think he could do absolutely bits. Same with Gyökeres as well. 11 goals, 1 assist for him. Like I said, Lisbon are flying at the moment, and as we saw, they were really fancied as well with the betting data for projected goals, so that one bodes very, very well. Had a decent match day 1, kind of fell off the pace a little bit in match day 2, but that would probably be forgiven considering their opponent, so should be back against Staz Grum to go and get a decent attack in return. And then finally, I think probably what will happen is most people's captains going into this week, and probably the player that will have the best projected goal numbers going into this week as well from the betting markets, it will be Erling Haaland. So for me, I think when it gets round to, obviously he plays on the Wednesday, I do feel like he will be most people's captains if, of course, your captain does blank on the Tuesday games as well. No real kind of comment around him. Obviously, there's been back-to-back blanks before. I think this video will actually come out before the Wolves game. So yeah, it's been back-to-back blanks for him so far in the Premier League, which isn't ideal. But of course, KDB's starting to, you know, get himself back into training. Foden as well, and I still feel like they'll have too much and they will outpower Prague. The only concern I do have with him is obviously they play Southampton on the weekend, then the following week they have the Carabao Cup as well. So there's a lot of games crammed in short succession here. So maybe Haaland doesn't see a full 90. That could be the only problem that you do have if you were to go for him. But let me know what you think of this side in the comments section. Is there any players that I potentially missed out on, or have I got it correctly? Let me know. Like I said, we are trying to hit 10,000 subscribers on the channel as well, so make sure you're hitting that like button, subscribing for plenty more content as well. But thank you very much and good luck in match day 3.